with all of you for being here today. But one thing I like to always do when I engage, with you, especially with all of you, is I just ask you guys to take these, whether or not. And that's the blessing. Amen. That's the blessing. Many people didn't get up, they don't have that blessing. So we have to choose to live in the moments. You wake up in the morning, you take that first. We're here to celebrate many things today, but Micheal Thompson, Uncle Mike, like to affectionately call him. You give him a round of applause. From the human official capacity, going to celebrate this day, this blessing, and also all of us that was, but also as a nephew. And I offered, I wrote a speech once, and it was inspired by my Uncle Mike. Many people, we all have a family, right? We all have family. We all have to be present, right? In the moment. I wrote a speech one time. It called "I'm a sum of all my parts." Born and raised here in the city of Flint. I have many uncles, many families, but I'm a sum of all my parts. I love them all equally, and they all poured into me. I'm a sum of all my parts. Like all of you, we're a sum of all of our parts. Neighbors, friends, family, even friends, we're a sum of all of our parts. But we have to recognize that. We have to do great things with that. Use all of the things that we have for that blessing. So today, we want to take a look back. We need to bag, you guys, some other piece of that bag. It was the year 1986, and we know, 1986, and it was in the city of Flint, there was a lot of turmoil going on with youth violence. And engaged in youth violence, we had to learn how to de-escalate, and we had to have a level of mediation that was happening throughout the world, but Flint was not experiencing that. With maybe no less than 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 gangs inside the city of Hill Warning, we saw a lot of those devastating things in our community. And it was tearing us apart. At that time in 1986, James Sharp was the mayor. But Micheal Thompson at that time, he had a reach into the community where he could be able to mediate the peace. This was the newspaper article from that time. Many of those individuals you may recognize from 1986. And it brought a common effect, especially for young people inside the city of Flint. And those things are important. We don't know how many lives were saved, how many people were saved as a byproduct of that. But that's my generation, and that's where I was at. Now, we know in the state of Michigan, excessive incarceration happens all the time, right? The state of Michigan, out of 50 states, excessively incarcerate people for the same crime. You can be in California and Michigan, the same crime, you may get 4 more years on your sentence in the state of Michigan. Michigan is the worst in our country. So we have a lot of people that have to fight through that. And then when you talk about the Micheal Thompson clemency program, fighting for those that's been marginalized is important because you have to fight for families fighting, you have to fight against the whole system. So that's important. So today, on behalf of the city of Flint, I would like to present this to the Micheal Thompson clemency program for the fight that he fought for all of us and some of our family members, because it's important for us to fight and champion for the most marginalized individuals. So on behalf of the city of Flint and the residents therein, I would like to present this to Micheal.
We also have one from the state of Michigan that I also want to present to you, Uncle Mike. You didn't know that one was coming, but I got your back.
Yeah. All right, she talks a lot, doesn't she? But it was also prior to Mayor James Sharp being the mayor, we had another mayor. His name was Rutherford. He was the first strong mayor inside the city of Flint, strong being the word of the government in which we serve. You're a weak form of mayor of government, meaning that you're a council form of government, council manager. But then I voted the people, they said we wanted to go for a strong form of mayor of government. And then James Rutherford was the first strong mayor. Then Jim Sharp was the second strong mayor. Micheal Thompson at that time received a key to the city from James Rutherford. He lost it, he couldn't find it. That key didn't really open much. But now you can be the benefactor of the key from the city of Mayor, strong Mayor, Sheldon Neal. Now, my goal today is to make you cry. We all have to embrace our lives and embrace each other with more love and more unity, right? You know, what defines us is how we rise. We're not defined by our past. We cannot be described by that. But each and every day when we wake up and you take that blessing, that breath, what do you choose to do with it? Are you going to help somebody? Are you going to love somebody? That's how we have to engage. So thank you. I am the son of all my hearts, but not that shirt.
We would like to thank the mayor and state rep for coming out to join us. Next, we'll have Brother David Tyler come up and speak.
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I want to talk from a little different point of view about Mike, because I grew up at 813 East 6th Street. Mike grew up at 817 East 6th Street, next door. Mike's sister Jean, hello baby, while we were living there, his name was Sheldon Neely. So we go way back. And we grew up at a time in Flint where our folks had jobs. Our folks had multiple jobs, and Mike's father, in addition to working at Buick, he cut hair and he fixed cars. And then he taught Mike how to cut hair. And Mike used to, Mike used to cut my hair. I might have to just talk loud. Okay. Ooh, man. So I just want to talk for a few minutes about what it was like in the neighborhood there. And, maybe you'll recognize some of these things from your own time growing up in town. But Mike, we used to call him Mike the Motorbike. That was one of his nicknames. Another nickname was Dookie Hookie. We were cold-blooded. And my nickname was Turtle. And I was Turtle because we used to have these races in the street every night. And I would be last. Kids like 4 years younger than me would beat me to the finish line. So I was Turtle. And we had the 6th Street gang. We had the 7th Street gang represented by Mr. Reggie Barnett over here. Flint Sports Hall of Fame, Notre Dame, National Football Champion, high school valedictorian, all this kind of stuff. We had some people in that neighborhood, because our parents went to work every day and made it possible for us to do the things that we wanted to do in life. And so I learned some lessons from Mike. because we had a basketball court in the backyard at my house. And I would kind of rule that court until Mike would come over there and start fouling and whatnot. And we went to Flint Central High School. Y'all remember Flint Central? Used to be a high school called Flint Central. And I wanted to play basketball for Flint Central. That was one of my goals. And Mike would come over. I told him, Mike, I'm gonna make the team, man. He said, you're not tough enough, Turtle. You're not tough enough. So let's play some ball. So we get out there, play ball. I'll go to the hoop. He hit me. Get tough, Turtle. Get tough, Turtle. And so I made the team. I got a lot tougher. I made the team. I made the varsity. And there was another time, a little bit earlier, where this kid up the street and I were getting in a fight. I'm not gonna say his name. He's not here, but we got in a fight. He had a little dirt lot in front of the house. So we got in a fight, and somebody gave him a nail file, you know, to deal with me in the fight. And Mike gave me a broom handle. He said, if you don't fight him, I'm gonna beat you up myself. So I used the broom handle, and you know, I won the fight. We went home, and everything was okay. So I learned some lessons from Mike. So fast forward a number of years, I went to college at University of Michigan, went out to New Jersey to work. I'm an electrical engineer. Went out to New Jersey to work. I come back to Flint. I don't know, was this the 70s? Was the 80s? I guess it was the 80s. Come back to Flint, and the other thing, besides wanting to play basketball, I wanted to start a business. I wanted to have an electronics business. And so that's why I went to New Jersey. I had a job that would help get me, you know, in line for that. I come back to Flint one day, and always got to check up on Mike, gotta see what he's doing. I got a business, man. I got a business. So go all around the North Saginaw Street. Mike got this business, and the business was car wash, pool hall. What was the third thing? Body shop. Car wash. His father fixed cars. See, so car wash, pool hall, body shop, and he had these shirts with a logo: love, peace, and happiness. Right. I took that shirt back to New Jersey, and I wore that shirt, you know, whenever I could, you know, when it didn't need to be washed. I was wearing my love, peace, and happiness shirt. But that inspired me. I said, Mike can start it because I know damn well I can start a business. So a few years later, I started an electronics business, and we did okay with it. And but I have to say that Mike was one of the inspirations for me being able to do that, because you know, when you grow up in a place like this, not seeing people do the kinds of things you want to do, sometimes you get discouraged, and sometimes you have doubts about yourself. But I will say that, you know, our 6th Street crew, 7th Street crew, I think it was the 5th Street through Wellington Street crew, we had some really dynamic people who were going out in the world and trying to do things, and they, and especially Mike, inspired me with that. So, you know, I followed Mike's journey. I saw, you know, what happened with him. I communicated with him from time to time while he was serving time over the years. Can't tell you how many jailhouse lawyers he met who said they were going to do this and didn't do it. He finally, you know, came through. So certainly, you know, appreciate and thankful for what she did. But I think I'm just so happy for Mike now that he gets a chance to live his life, you know, and to be free and to enjoy the things that are out here. So we had lunch, me and Reggie and Mike had lunch down in, what was it? Bloomfield Hills or somewhere, a month or so ago. And we ate good. We told some stories. You know, that's what it's about. So I'm glad he gets a chance to live his life. I'm glad he's still trying to do something positive with his life. And I'm going to pledge tonight a check for that Clemency Mike Thompson project. I'm going to contribute to that. I think Mr. Barnett will too. All right, we are.
Thank you so much for those inspirational words. I want to ask Mr. Barnett to come up and have a word. Come on up. That's all right. You know what you know.
That's all right. That would be out there and do our story too. Some good, some bad. First that Mike taught me to keep my hands up in. Leader in the neighborhood. Mike actually growing up was very quiet. We'd have to go over there and sit on the porch with him to get some of those stories. He always had some stories. You came over to visit him, so I just like to come over and visit and hear those stories. But the bottom line is that Mike, we're all happy to see you getting this freedom. We're all very pleased that you get a chance to live your life now. And we all wish you the best. And I know you're going to take advantage of this. So I look forward to you directing and leading other folks not in this position. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Is Larry Butter Smith here? Come on up.
How y'all doing? So now, for all y'all great people in this room, what up, brother? Everybody, my name is Larry Arnold Smith Jr. So they announced it as Larry Butter Smith because on the yard, people called me Butter. Nobody really knew who Larry was. Larry really didn't exist. When I first went to prison at 18 years old, I didn't know why I was going to prison. I hadn't done anything. So it took 26 years, 10 months, and 7 days for the system to recognize that I was an innocent person in prison. And what I mean by recognize it is to release me, right? So, because they've been doing it. But when I was on the yard, all right, so that's probably why I'm here. We was on the yard together. And we had a lot of exchanges. And in our conversation, it goes something like this. Man, when we gonna get out of here? And then my response would be like, man, I don't know, right? When we gonna get out? I don't know. I don't know how, right? But by the grace of the Creator, we all here right now in this room. Mike, you had a hell of a walk, bro. So to get out and to come up and vow to a community of people in Michigan, which sounded around the country, bro. Think about it now, that you would help people. And there's people in this room who help and stand and support are representing with you in this country. That's powerful, man, because I walked 25 years with you. Honestly, hands down, like to see your promises to be fulfilled, that's living in legacy. So maybe I'm here because I've seen him walk in that walk, and now I'm seeing him out here walking this walk, and I'm just amazed. So I drove my hour and 35 minutes, not to come and say anything, but just to be in the presence of greatness. And all of y'all are great because all of y'all share an experience with you, and now y'all are here and we sharing it together. So I'm grateful for y'all even listening to me because shoot, who am I, right? LDSJR. The lady told me I could forget my name, but don't forget that number. So I'll let everybody know. My name is Larry Darnell Smith Jr. It's a pleasure to know all of you, meet you tonight. Thank you, Mike, for having me here. And I'm ingratiated and thank you all. And I'm gonna make a donation too, Mike. I ain't really got too much, but I got you, bro.
Mr. McCurdy, I know, Mark Claybo is not here, but would you please come up and have a word?
Thank you. So I'm Mike McCurdy, honored to be the co-director of the Micheal Thompson Clemency Project. I haven't known Micheal as long as many of you have, but I had the honor of being there the day he walked out those prison gates. I was part of a coalition of activists around the state and the country working for Micheal's release, working for the release of all cannabis prisoners and beyond cannabis, just the release of all those unjustly incarcerated in our system. It was so amazing that cold morning, winter morning, when Micheal walked out, to see a man who had spent so many years behind bars walk out and immediately take a stand, begin talking about the injustices he had seen on the inside. And when I say immediately, I mean, he was there in the winter. He didn't get in a car. He didn't drive anywhere. He sat there in that cold, winter, dark parking lot of the prison and address the nation from there, talking about the people still on the inside that didn't belong there. And that's really when the Micheal Thompson Clemency Project was born, because some of us there, reached out to Micheal afterwards and said, we want to help you with that fight. And we want to help you reach back in there and fight for those people that are still inside that don't belong there. Because we all know there's many, many good people behind bars still today. And people who have faced injustice, people who face really, if we're honest, torture conditions. And that's the fight that we want to continue. And, something I want everyone to know is it's hard to fight this fight when you don't have resources. I'm super honored and excited that people are pledging money tonight, because we at one time as a project we had staff, and we were able to, people were able to spend their lives, helping file commutations, helping to get people out, and we have successfully, and that's important. And while we still fight, as of now, we're a volunteer force, which is, there's power in volunteering, but everyone knows when you have to spend your days, 40, 60 hours a week working at a job, you only got so much energy to put towards the movement. And so, my dream is that one day we can return to a level where the Micheal Thompson Clemency Project has staff, and so we can fight for more people. So, anything anybody can do to help us get there and help make Micheal Thompson's dream a reality, it's greatly appreciated. So thank you everybody for coming tonight, and appreciate you.
I want to say, it's been about 40-some years, when I met Mike, we were at AC Spark Plus / Delphi. And that's when I met him, and I represented him, his father, his brother, and 2 of his wives. So I've been around a long time. And Mike and my son were doing time together, and my son is still locked up. And I saw the system it was dirty. My son had not one but 2 home juries, and they just did him in the end. And so I fought with a lot of the mothers before the Clemency Project came, fighting, trying to help get our children out of that prison. It's just a farm. It's like this is the modern day slavery type thing from my eyes. And so we fight. I'm on the clemency board as well. So when Mike came out, we were all there to encourage him, to help him in any way that we could. And so all of the great things that he's done has caused many inmates to come home. I was there with several of them that were able to come home through the Clemency Project. So like Mr. McCurdy said, we fight, and sometimes with limited resources. So anybody that can give, we have a donation box right here. Write a check. I guess he got cash out. If he don't, I do, and I'll help send it to him. But anyway, it's a worthy cause because there's not always justice in the justice system. And we have to fight to make a change. Amen. And we fight so many ways. Right now, I run a police service center on University and Chevrolet, and I represent the 6th Ward, but anybody that comes in there, I'll help any way that I can. As I say, I was the union rep in Delphi for many years, and I fought, especially because we were underdogs, and I fought for women and everybody else because there was a lot of discrimination going on. But Mike was a part of that, you know. And so we came together, and he came home, and we were happy, and we represented. So enough of that. Now, I'm going to call up Miss Dee Dee Kirkwood, who has flown in from California to help with this function. So she's been an activist in the movement like myself.
My name is Dee Dee Kirkwood, and I love marijuana. It is my love of pot that brought me to Michael Thompson. I'm a weed girl, but Michael was never a weed guy. He just happened to get caught selling a very little bit of it. If it had been any other drug, I would not be standing here right now. But in my world, cannabis is not a drug. It's a miracle plant. I'm turning 77 this year and have been smoking this gift from Mother Nature for 60 years. It calms my anxiety. It nurtures my creativity. And it quickly connects me to my spiritual center where I prefer to dwell. Oh shit, what's next? I practiced this so many times. For months I've been practicing. Oh my God. I need to get my notes.
Okay. In the meantime.
I thought I had it.
These are the activists that have been pouring into the Clemency Project.
I practiced so many times.
I can't believe I put it's like 8 lines.
Okay.
So, to my spiritual center where I prefer to dwell. I smoke daily from an old school wooden box vaporizer, and I prefer sativa. There have been periods when I stopped smoking completely to prove to myself that I didn't need to smoke. But what I learned was the best part of not smoking is the starting up again part. And that was also a line from the stage play I wrote called Toke.
Okay.
Okay. So, next.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, in my play, my life's experiences took center stage along with a character called the Pot Fairy as my sidekick, a character who represented my higher self. The ending of the play shed light on the injustice of people going to jail for a miracle plant. I've produced my play in Hollywood, Berkeley, and Sacramento, California. In 2012, after the final performance, I was invited to a gathering of like-minded individuals who were already aware of the injustice I had just dramatized. At this event, I was introduced to a mother and father who were devastated after Child Protective Services came and took away their young children because of pot. The instant rage I felt hearing their story was my segue into joining a group that believed in no jail for a plant. They did prison outreach, and although I never had known anyone in prison before, my instincts were telling me that writing a monthly birthday card to a pot prisoner would be a safe entry into activism. When I hosted a letter writing party at my home in Los Angeles, it was these same instincts that told me to go hide when leader Joe Grumbine came by looking for me to jump on a call with someone named Micheal Thompson, serving a life sentence in Michigan for 3 pounds of pot. It really scared me to think of hearing an actual voice of a stranger who was locked up forever, but I surrendered to my fears. Micheal said, "Dee Dee, I really need your help." His voice instantly pierced my soul, and it was evident this phone call was no accident. I told him I knew nothing about law, but as a woman of spirit, I would pray for divine intervention and do everything in my power to get him free. I adopted him on the spot. When he was in prison, we wrote letters back and forth, emailed with JPay, and eventually we spoke daily on the phone for 15 minutes each call. He had a deal going to trade a can of tuna in exchange for someone to hold his place in the telephone line. He was a great teacher in opening my eyes to the horrific injustices he was forced to endure under inhumane conditions. But by the grace of God and with the precious help from many, Micheal was pardoned 4 years ago. But before he got out, there was a problem that he didn't have any housing. It became urgent that he needed a place to live and an address to call his own. As fate had it, an article came out from journalist Tanika Neva about Michael's prison nightmare, which civil rights activist Sean King happened to read. He immediately jumped on board and divinely intervened as the game changer. When Sean reached out to his 3 million followers to call the governor's office on Michael's behalf, it was heard loud and clear. And when he reached out again to his 3 million followers to donate to a GoFundMe for Michael's housing, they responded en masse. Over $270,000 was raised within a 24-hour period, enough to buy Michael the home he is in today. I am still pinching myself for having witnessed these miracles of epic proportions in my lifetime. It might come as a surprise, but over the past 12 years I've known Michael, he has helped free me as much as I have helped free him. I was carrying a lot of personal baggage from an 18-year abusive relationship that left me feeling powerless and without a voice to represent myself. Through our steady communication, Michael encouraged me to quit giving power to the old voices in my head. I took his direction and listened to his every word, which resulted in discovering my own courage and strength that I never knew existed. I am a proud graduate from Micheal's boot camp. As Michael's national and international popularity grows, a new level of extraordinary leadership qualities have surfaced in him that are impossible to teach, but serve as role models for saving lives. Young people can learn from this Flint-native's determination, self-awareness, commitment, competence, principles, and straightforwardness that he acquired through life's trial and errors. Micheal Thompson is a man among men on a mission, and we are here tonight together to cheer him on to victory. He is victorious. Congratulations on your freedom, Micheal. And now I would like to call up his parole agent, his wonderful, amazing Mark McDowell. Parole agent. Former.
Good evening. Congratulations, Micheal. It's been a long 4 years. You made it. Come on up here. Come on up here. Dee Dee's got something to present to you.
The official
We're gonna have, Brother Jesse Thompson come on up for a word. Our keynote.
Hello, everyone. Michael and I go way back, but since he was released, he and I talk at least 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes every day. But I just want to talk to you about his journey and about the criminal justice system, because you can't talk about one without talking about the other. What if I told you that one decision, one mistake could cost you 25 years of your life? While the world moves on, you sit in a cell watching birthdays pass, watching opportunities disappear, loved ones grow older, and a loved one passes away, another loved one passes away, and even another loved one passes away. And then one day, you're released, but freedom isn't freedom, because you must complete 4 years of parole. You see, parole isn't the end of a sentence. It's just another kind of a prison. Completing 4 years of parole might seem like a cakewalk, but it's not. When you consider that of the individuals on parole, within 3 years of being released, about 62% of them are rearrested. And many times they're not rearrested for committing another crime. They are rearrested for some technical provision in the probation or parole term. Tonight, we gather for a celebration unlike any other. We are here to honor a man whose resilience and courage have inspired a movement. A man who turned his story of injustice into a call for reform. Michael's story exposes the deep flaws of our justice system. In 1984, Michael was sentenced to 42 to 60 years for selling 3 pounds of marijuana. For this nonviolent offense, he endured decades behind bars. But Michael's story doesn't end with injustice. It continues with perseverance. His sentence became a rallying cry for reform, drawing attention to the gross disparities in the justice system. And through the tireless efforts of advocates, the Micheal Thompson Clemency Project was born. This initiative has not only brought attention to Michael's case, but has also become a beacon of hope for so many others who are incarcerated. In January of 2021, Michael's story or journey took a pivotal turn. The governor commuted his sentence. after serving 25 years for a crime that in today's world wouldn't even warrant prison time, Micheal walked into a changed world. Now that Micheal has completed his parole, we celebrate the end of one chapter and the beginning of a new one. Micheal, the injustice that you endured could have broken anyone, but you refused to let it break you. Yes, Micheal, you did time, yet you refused to let time do you. You used your time behind bars to grow, to mentor, and to prepare for the day when your voice would be heard. You didn't just survive those years, you transformed them into a mission to ensure others don't face the same fate. The Micheal Thompson Clemency Project is your legacy. It represents the fight for fairness, for second chances, and for a justice system that lives up to its name. Your case has opened the eyes of countless people to the harsh realities of mass incarceration and the urgent need for reform. The United States has the highest incarceration rate in the world, with nearly 2 million people behind bars. And I don't have to tell you the complexion of most of the people behind the bars. Although the United States make up only 5% of the world's population, it accounts for 20% of the world's incarcerated population. So if you were to take what the percentage we should have, that would mean that instead of about 2 million people being incarcerated here, we would only have about 500,000 people being incarcerated. But incarceration doesn't only punish the individual, it devastates families. Micheal, you're living proof that a single person's courage can inspire change, that even the darkest moments can lead to light, and that redemption is always possible. To everyone here tonight, let Micheal's story remind us that the fight for justice isn't over.
Amen.
There are still so many like Micheal who deserve our attention, our advocacy, and our action. The Micheal Thompson Clemency Project's work is not done. That is why we must support you, Micheal, and the Micheal Thompson Clemency Project. Micheal, you've endured more than anyone ever should, but you've emerged stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. Tonight, we salute you, your freedom, your future, and the countless lives that you've already inspired and will continue to inspire. And a couple speakers mentioned about volunteering and the resources that are needed. I know from talking to Micheal, and I know that many people get it twisted. They might go on Instagram and they see Micheal at a nice restaurant. They see Micheal in a different state, etc. Micheal is doing that to bring awareness to what's going on in the criminal justice system. Individuals who support Micheal, who support the project, they're the ones that are taking from their pocket to help Michael so that he can spread the word. So I'm asking you to do what you can to help support this project. You might not be able to give anything, but you might know someone that can give. And even if you can only give a few bucks, all of that helps. That will help keep this project going. And I just wish that Michael could have 2% of the people who have listened to his message cried crocodile tears and promised that they were going to do this, they were going to do that. And some of the people had money. I'm talking about millions of dollars. And they promised that they're going to do this, but they do not deliver. So we all need to do what we can, and we all need to support Michael, because if you believe, and as you've heard Michael say so many times, the criminal justice system is broken. I put a different spin on it. I say the criminal justice system is doing what it was designed to do, to keep people who look like me and who look like you in prison behind bars, because that's what tears down the Black community. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. And Michael is doing what is necessary to dismantle that system and put a system in place so that it is a justice system. Because what it is now is an unjust system that targets the wrong people. So Michael, congratulations for your achievement. Getting through 4 years of parole takes a lot. And for you to come right out of prison and to travel throughout this country promoting the Clemency Project and letting people know what really goes on behind those bars, that's what people need to hear. So congratulations and keep up the good work.
Mr. Ty Duncan from Crystal Labs, would you please come forward for Miss Ty?
Hello, everyone. I don't want to stand between folks and their food, so I'll be quick up here. But I came from Chicago because 3 years ago, my life was changed because I got to meet you. Michael, thank you for making the work that I do every day and my job come to life in a way that's more meaningful than sending emails, having meetings. You are the embodiment of why this work matters. So I work at Crystal Labs in Chicago, and we work with Michael on the Since Michael Thompson documentary. I met him at South by Southwest, and we were touring with the film. And I talk to Michael all the time now. He knows my family through photos and texts. We talk about, all kinds of different things. But most people don't get to do this for their work, to actually meet people who are making a true difference and impact. So I'm proud to work for a company that knows that what you're doing matters and wants to be supportive of you in that work. And I'm hopeful that everyone here and will tell everyone that they know, and we can continue to keep your project alive and doing the work that is so important, because the system is doing what it's supposed to do, and it's breaking people. It's broken families, generations, and we have to stop this. So thank you for all that you've done to contribute to this. Congratulations on your well-earned freedom. You never should have been there in the first place. Our system was wrong, and you are showing that it doesn't have to break you. So thank you for continuing the fight, and I look forward to continuing to work with you on that one.
Our last speaker will be Miss Mirage. Moo. Wait.
Okay, hey, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think he was serious about me speaking up here. Everybody's like, yeah, you never speaking, boom. I'm like, nah. Okay, so I'm gonna start by saying I was 20 or 21 when I first met my granddad. I want to say I was 20. And when he first got out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna meet him, but I don't know. I don't know how he gonna be acting. So I was like, I'm the stubborn one. So I was like, yeah. And I grew up with my mom like speaking so highly of him. So I knew who he was, but I just never got a chance to meet him. Until like last year, me and him started to build a rapport like one another. And I'm like, okay, he a real cool man. Okay. He would just like send pictures of like him traveling, spreading like awareness on his clemency project. He would ask me how I am, and I stay in Atlanta by myself, no family, so that meant a lot. And then I just realized like it takes a lot of perseverance to like build a rapport with people that you really don't know. My grandmother, Bridget, has 5 daughters, and everybody have their own family tree. My mom have 10 kids, so that's a lot of people. And he has a rapport with like each one of us in his own way. Like in the amount of 4 years, that's a big deal. Because growing up, every man in my life was in jail. And I just really never had, a man to set the tone for the family and say, this is what we're gonna do, this is how we're gonna do it. And this Christmas, I came home for the first time in like 3 years and I spent it at his house. And he had a conversation like, there's too many of y'all, y'all need to sit down and come up with a plan and start breaking these generational curses. And it meant a lot because I really never grew up with family being family because it was broken apart. And it made me realize like jail is not normal. And it plays a role in the person that's serving the time, but the family as well. And it's so easy to get caught up in like the outside world and we forget about the people that's in jail and vice versa. And I just want to say thank you for just having the strength to continue to build a relationship with us, even when it seems like we don't care. I love you, and I'm going to great dad. I keep bragging on you.
Now we will hear from the man of the hour, Mr. Micheal.
All right, it's almost time to eat now. Be there in a minute, Chuck. I grew up on St. John Street. I don't know, a lot of y'all don't know where St. John. St. John was a rough street. Just like 12th Street in Detroit. I grew up with a bunch of mice and rats, roaches, 5 families in one house. And then the front porch was the office. They called it Red Ball at that time, Red Ball Cat. And I come from Mississippi.
It's all right. Come on. Good job, son.
I see a lot of guys here, like Simmerex, people that I spoke to inside the prison. They were loyal to a lot of people, but some of the people they were loyal to, they shouldn't. I knew when he got out of prison, I told his parole agent that he would never have no problems out of him because Simmer was going to do well. One of the best parole agents in the United States is sitting in this room right now. His name Mark McDowell.
Woo!
I don't think if I had any other pro agent, I don't think I would have made it. You got to take a back seat to a lot of things. and I ain't used to taking no back seat to nobody. Just like I told the system, you can't do no more than me, you'd already done.
Come on now.
You can't do no more to me than you'd already done. That's the reason why they need more pro agents like Mark. Because they're sending guys back on bullshit. And I see some fresh pro agents coming in. And it's needed, especially for people of color. You'd be surprised what a pen can do. Mess a whole guy's file up. I used to watch guys, just look at my window and watch guys go to the control center, go to healthcare with the chains on their ankles, chains on their waist, and a dog chain. That's to them. A dog chain. Now what they doing with a dog chain? You got to chain your ankles. You got your ankles chained up. You got your waist chained up. Then you put a dog on each other. So you tell me what that do to a person, a human being that gonna be released one day. Well, the way they gonna look at that is, you didn't give a damn about me. I don't give a damn about you. And that's where it happens. You come out and then the first weak guy that's in prison pick up a gun and you won't be a man again. When they, you know, it just takes a lot from you. Take your manhood from you. See, I'm proud of a lot of guys that got out, you know what I'm saying, that the Michael Thompson clemency that helped out. We're waiting on a guy to get out now, his name William Philip Hunt. The Michael Thompson clemency did all the work. And this guy been in prison for 60 years. He's 80 years old, man. He turned 80 years old last week. And he's supposed to be in here today, but we thought he could be out. We thought he'd be out last week. But the Michael Thompson clemency is real. And I'm letting you know right now, just like I tell everybody, I'm not for sale. I'm not for sale. And when I be speaking about these guys in prison, I be serious, man. Because I had to go back. My mind goes back to the times I washed my clothes in the toilet stool. So, you know, I'm looking, you know, just like Micheal come up and he watched me speak in Palm Springs, all over the country. And people crying all over the country. Crying like babies. But where the money at? If you hurting that bad, you crying that bad, where the money at? You really think, you really hurt, and you really believe in what's going on, and people need help. My slogan is, all you got to do is care. All you got to do is care. You know, I'm gonna close. I want to say this. You know, I think about sometime when I go to bed, and I think about the prison. I can't get rid of it. I think about the prison. Some things in prison you would never.
Come on now, take your time. Come on.
you'll never be able to get rid of. Yes, I broke the games up many years ago. Everybody tried to take credit for it, but I went and broke them. I broke them over my own money. Top dogs, the Undertakers, the Green Boys, all of them. Sheldon, my nephew, the mayor, gave me a proclamation award and a key to the city of Flint. And I'm honored. But I'm looking at guys like Mark Pinger in the back there, standing there. I'm looking at someone did 40 years. He was a kid. He's a grown man now, but he was a kid then. But what if it wouldn't have been, then the Michael Thompson clemency started on his thing, but the juvenile bill got him out first. But the Michael Thompson clemency was on it. Man, he was on it. He would tell you that. Right. They came to the clemency come to sing because of what we found. The Michael Thompson clemency is real. Yeah. And never think about it. I'm finna close, because I know you're hungry. You know, I'm looking at look at my granddaughters. Look at all of them. And just think about it. Just think about how much money it costs. Just think about them little eyes looking at you, man. And they're all fine. So don't hurt them. Don't hurt them, treat them right. So I would like to say thank you, Mark McDowell, for helping me through this. I appreciate it. Amen.
Is there any clergy in the house? Any clergy? No? Okay. Then we're gonna bow our heads for a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, all wise God, we come before the throne of grace, thanking you for Michael, thanking you for the Clemency Project. Thank you for the work that's been done and the work that's going to be done. And we ask a special blessing over the food that we're about to receive for the nourishment of our bodies for Christ's sake. And we hope that there's no impurities in the food or drink. Amen. I'm going to call tables, please, because no, this is what the servers are going to do. This table, please, and this table. You can get it now.